All right, thanks for being here. Appreciate you spending some time with us this morning. Vice President Harris is calling for the ending of the filibuster for abortion rights. Vice President Harris said, I think we should eliminate the filibuster for Roe. She said this on a Wisconsin public radio station. To actually put back in law the protections for reproductive freedom, for the ability for every person and every woman to make decisions about their own body and not have their government tell them what to do. Wish they felt that way about vaccines, but I digress. Senator Joe Manchin says he doesn't support ending the filibuster.
I've been very, very, very clear on how strongly I believe that when you go down that slippery path, you don't just do it for one issue. There's so many important issues that people have. What's important to me might not be important to you and vice versa.
And he's not wrong. He's 100% right. I want you to hear, this is Perry Russom over at ABC talking about Senator Sinema.
Vice President Kamala Harris is leaning into what's become a defining issue for her campaign, abortion, saying she wants to abolish the Senate filibuster to restore reproductive rights. Arizona Senator Kyrsten Sinema, an independent, posting to state the supremely obvious eliminating the filibuster to codify Roe v. Wade also enables a future Congress to ban all abortions nationwide.
And again, that's the unintended consequences, and the short-term thinking is we're going to get our way, but you're opening the door for when the other side, I could talk about so many different things with this. You know, you want the truth police. This is one of the things they've advocated for as well. You've heard the vice presidential nominee for the Democrats, Tim Walz, talk about putting the First Amendment in check. You've heard about somebody having a truth czar, someone that monitors social media and the internet to make sure you're not being lied to. The problem is, and let's just say it happens. Let's say you're one of the people that thinks that the filibuster should be ended so that reproductive rights, which is just a nice way of saying abortion, that abortion access and Roe v. Wade is codified as a federal law because you can't get it done with the rules of the Senate as they are. Let's say you're able to get that done and you get a win. You're going to win a battle and you're going to lose a war, because down the road, when there is a 1, 2, 3 seat majority for Republicans in the United States Senate, and the Republicans control the House, and the Republicans control the White House, you won't have any checks and balances and the ability to filibuster to stop what is extreme laws. Let me explain this. And this was explained to me in such an eloquent way that I'm not going to do justice. But the former Senator John Kyle, former Arizona Senator John Kyle, and I had a conversation about the filibuster once on the air. And he said, here's why it's important. And John McCain used to call the Senate, and I know others have, the saucer that cools the drink. But Senator Kyle explained it to me and said, what ends up happening if you don't have the ability to filibuster is you have these extreme swings in legislation and laws. When the Republicans have total control, you swing way to the right because there's nothing to stop it. When the Democrats are in control, it swings way left. And so we have these sweeping changes in American laws that continue to go back and forth. What the Senate's able to do with the filibuster is that when you think something that the majority party is doing is extreme, you have the ability to filibuster, you have the ability to force debate, you have the ability to kill something that you think is extreme. You have the ability to have influence. The House is a simple majority, and that's the way it's supposed to be. It's the people's House. It is supposed to be a body that is a simple majority. Whoever has the 1-seat majority out of the 435 has control as the Speaker of the House. You appoint people to committees and committee chairs. You send things up for a vote. You control that body. And then a 1-vote majority on any piece of legislation means it passes, and on it goes to the Senate. The Senate has the ability to slow that down. The Senate has the ability to not allow extremes to happen. And that's what the filibuster does. Republicans need it now because of the 50-50 tie with the vice president being a Democrat. But the Democrats have used it in the past, and I can guarantee you this, if the Republicans were to take over the Senate, if they are to win the majority in the Senate this election cycle, Democrats will use it like crazy. It is a balance tool. You don't have to. This is the problem where, and it's not just the left that does this, but this is what the left is doing right now. They don't like the Supreme Court. They call it's too conservative. But you loved it when Ruth Bader Ginsburg was super liberal. You loved her leaning left with everything she did. You love Kagan. You love what she's doing. You love that it's left-leaning. You don't like people that disagree with you on that court. So we should pack the court. We should change the court. There should be term limits. You didn't win the electoral vote. So we should get rid of the Electoral College because our person didn't win. Doesn't matter what the long-term effects are. You didn't get your way right now. And that's what's happening here. The filibuster is frustrating. It's frustrating to the people in the Senate. But it's also one of the ways we stop extremes from happening on either side. Huge dramatic swings every 4 or every 6 or every 2, for that matter, years. And we have to keep our eye on that. The idea that we have to get our way, and if we don't get our way, we're going to change the rules to get our way. We have to, as voters, step in and say that's not how this works. I may agree, you may agree, I don't, but you may agree that Roe v. Wade should be ensconced in federal law. You may agree with that. But to change all the rules to get your way is going to hurt people in the long run.
Thanks for watching the Mike Broomhead Show. Catch up on Amazing Arizonans, a KTAR News podcast, and click the button in the middle to subscribe.